hugging and slapping five and high-fiving right around the pitcher's mound.
So Pokemon Sword and Shield are coming out soon. It's probably going to sell like 1 billion copies and do super well. With Pokemon Go, the Detective Pikachu movie, and the Nintendo Directs, Pokemon's having a pretty good time right now. And you know what? They've been having a pretty good time for a very long time. But long ago, there was a challenger, a contender, one who would contest the claim that Pokemon had to American culture, a Pepsi to Pokemon's Coke. And this was Bakugan Battle Brawl. Nah, I'm just joshing. It's Digimon. The late 90s and early 2000s were a wonderful time for me. I was a little boy running around, drooling, and watching TV. I fell in love with both Pokemon and Digimon. The imaginary monster companions were such a dope concept, dude. As a dinosaur lover and a Barney enthusiast at the age of 5, I obviously gravitated to the homies, Agumon, Charmander, and Squirtle. I know Bulbasaur is like a dinosaur, but he's not like bipedal, and bipedal is how I roll. When these first movies came out for Pokemon and Digimon, I watched both of them, but one holds a special connection with me. One I rewatch a bunch, and that's the one that this video is about. Digimon, the movie. This movie is just perfect. It just brings me back to that time when I was just sitting on a couch, just watching TV with no worries. It reminds me of going to fast food places to collect toys. It reminds me of getting driven to school and listening to the thong song. It reminds me of Saturday morning Fox Kids. Digimon the movie is a time capsule. Hell, to be honest, when's the last time you thought Saban was relevant? When's the last time you've heard about Angela Anaconda? And when's the last time you heard this? That theme? That's the dub theme. The one that aired in America. Across the world, some people got this and some people didn't. That's why when you say Digimon, some people will think of this song instead. In fact, the differences between the Saban dub and the original don't end with a theme song. Some character names were changed, some Digimon names were changed, and also the first American theatrical Digimon movie. And you might be saying, Fleshmon, that wasn't like a grammatically correct sentence, man. But it ain't wrong. In 2000, there were no full-length Digimon movies made, only 3.5 smaller features that ranged from 40 minutes to a little over an hour. And in a rush to capitalize off the gangbuster success of the Pokemon movies, Fox decided they needed to make a Digimon movie. So they took the editing scissors and got to work. The first American theatrical Digimon movie is actually a combination of those 3 smaller movies. There are so many edits and script changes though that this movie actually qualifies as an original work and not an adaptation. When you actually sit down and watch both versions or all the originals, which I did for the purposes of this video, you'll find a ton of differences, whether it's in like plot, character, tone, dialogue, you name it, and honestly, I think the dub is better. It's a perfect time capsule. Just like the early DreamWorks films, Fox was obsessed with making a timely soundtrack. Look at this track list for the Digimon movie. Look at it! All-Star, Rockefeller Skank, Kids in America, One Week, the impression that I get, all bona fide classics. These songs were super of the time, and date the movie in a wonderful way. So much so that when I hear any of these songs, I don't think they're out of place, but instead I feel like I've been transported in time. Digimon the movie is as much a period piece as Mad Men, but instead of the misogynistic, racist, smoking 60s, it's the less misogynistic, low-key racist late 90s. And not only that, but we got these original songs like Let's Kick It Up, Here We Go, Run Around, also classic. Very specific to Digimon classic, but still classics. Say what you will about dubs in general, but the dub for the movie just gives it a whole different vibe. This movie isn't just a translation of the Japanese source material. After watching the different movies back to back, the original version just seems so much more boring. They got some weird Evangelion vibes going on, which wouldn't surprise me because, you know, the first movies debuted around 2000 after the end of Evangelion, but compared to the dub, you know, it doesn't have as much energy. The dub has so much of it. It's got this late 90s pre-9/11 American excitement and jazz about it. There's so much enthusiasm. The dub has so many jokes loaded into it, and it takes opportunities to inject levity and humanity into all the material. So much so that in comparison, the original version seems very overly quiet and boring. Some scenes in the Japanese version seem very Evangelion inspired, with the Digimon acting in the place of the Evas. They're not really like friendly, heroic companions anymore, but instead they are these forces of nature and benevolent, violent, mysterious creatures. Greymon no longer communicates with his toddler buddies and reassures them.
You okay? Who's that?
I'm Greymon now.
You can be whoever you want. Big guy. Hikari.
And War Greymon no longer acknowledges Tai's pleas and heroic speech.
Kids from all over the world are writing to you. They need your help. You're the only one who can do it. Feel their hope. Feel their strength.
I feel them.
I know it's an opinion, but the score in Let's Kick It Up is superior to the Japanese choir in the Omnimon scene.
Part War Greymon. Part Metal Garurumon. They digivolve together to become
Omnimon!
The only thing I don't like about the movie is the last chunk. Let me explain. The Digimon movie is divided into 3 chunks, which are compressed versions of the 3.5 movies, respectively. So we got 8 years ago, aka Digimon Adventure in Japan, 4 years later, aka Bokuran no War Game, and present day, aka Digimon Adventure 2, Part 1, Digimon Hurricane Touchdown, and Part 2, Transcendent Evolution, The Golden Digimentals. Oh yeah, and also an Angela Anaconda short. Remember that? God, 2000 was a great time to be alive. The bulk of the movie, and my favorite parts, are in the 4 years later section. Both Bokuran no War Game and Digimon Adventure are relatively unchanged. However, the third part definitely, sucks. So, through the first 2 parts, there's this character that's name-dropped and not mentioned in the series. They keep talking about this dude named Willis. When they finally get to present day, the whole story revolves around this Willis dude and his random corrupted Digimon. Personally, this isn't very interesting to me because I didn't know who he was prior, and I have no prior knowledge, so I don't care about this guy. The pacing and editing was also really bad. Things were really compressed. Unlike the first 2 chunks, which were edited down a little bit, the third part was edited down almost to 50% of its original runtime. A lot of stuff was skipped over, and you had a lot of important plot points, as well as character motivations and moments just not being there anymore. The result is a really, really quick-moving movie that spends no time letting you get to know and like the characters. Also, Willis sucks. In fact, you might even say, what were they thinking when they cut this movie together? You can't just cut 30 minutes from a 60-minute movie and place it in. And that's exactly what the dub director/writer Jeff Nimoy said. He was actually in charge of the initial first draft, and it was just a mashup of the first 2 movies. No Willis, no Kokomon, and no random-ass golden Digi-Eggs. He even suggested that they release the 3rd Digimon movie on TV or direct-to-DVD. However, the 3rd chunk was based on the kids from the 2nd season of Digimon, so it was kept in to help with the promotion of the new season. Also, fun fact, the first 2 Japanese features were directed by Mamoru Hosoda. And if that name sounds familiar, it's because he directed a whole lot of awesome stuff, like Slam Dunk, episodes 29 and 70, One Piece, episode 199, The Girl Who Leapt Through Time, Summer Wars, Wolf Children, The Boy and the Beast, Mirai, and Dragon Ball Z, episode 173. Basically, he's kind of a big deal. It's like if Hayao Miyazaki cut his teeth animating episodes of Dragon Ball. You can tell the difference in quality of animation and even the designs between the first 2 parts and the 3rd. To me, the first 2 chunks of the movie are really, really great. The voice acting is great, the nostalgia hits me just right, and I think the jokes are really funny.
You know, we really shouldn't be playing
Did you see that?
No, I was sleeping.
But you're driving!
And overall, if you're not already a fan of Digimon, this probably won't appeal to you. It seems to be very much a thing that you needed to be there for. And it sucks that the right situation for Digimon is so complicated. The original American Digimon theme song is owned by Saban, so even future English dubs of Digimon things couldn't use it. That meant that for the dubbing of the eventual sequel to our war game, Revenge of Diaboromon, the inferior Digimon Frontier theme was used instead. Digimon the movie was done by Fox, but now the rights have moved over to Disney, so maybe they can do a reprint or re-release the movie? Except they won't, because no one cares about Digimon anymore, and it won't even have the original theme again, so RIP. With the complicated rights situation and lack of popularity, at least compared with Pokémon, Digimon has kind of fallen from its peak in the late 90s and early 2000s. However, they've released a continuation of the original series called Digimon Tri, and they've been releasing a steady influx of games. So it's not like Digimon is dead. Also, side note, Digimon are cooler than Pokemon. That's my personal stance. If you disagree, then, get out. Come on, man. They can talk, they can evolve whenever they want, they got so many forms. Also, that Pika-Pee stuff, it's okay, but compared to Agumon's voice, and him talking to Tai, it's over. No contest. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video and learned a little something about Digimon. Stay cool, and stay fleshy.